YouTube, my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. If you're new to my channel and have not yet subscribed, please do so now. Here's why you should subscribe to my channel. I discuss intimate issues that affect us as a society and as mankind. I talk about issues that you're going to be happy that somebody's actually talking about. I also review herbal medicine and herbal therapies that one can use to heal or boost one's immune system. I focus on therapies that I've used personally so you get first-hand feedback. And yes, I am an astrologer. I bring you astrology in a simple way that you can use it for your everyday guidance in your life. Moving on to our subject. I'm going to discuss the effects of Pluto transiting the houses while it's transiting Capricorn until 2024. You have to know your ascendant in order to know which house Pluto is transiting in your natal birth chart. So go to astro.com to get your free natal birth chart so that you can follow along. Pluto takes 245 years to go around the zodiac. So that means it will never travel all the houses in your chart in this lifetime. Unless you are a vampire. So if you are a vampire, then you might have a Pluto return. Countries, on the other hand, can have a Pluto return. America as a country is going to be experiencing a Pluto return pretty soon. And I believe it's in the second house, so you can see how our financial system is undergoing all this transformation. However, this transit is about you and how it will affect you personally while it's transiting in a specific house in your natal birth chart. Let's evaluate Pluto, and then let's also evaluate the sign that it's transiting in the zodiac at this time. Pluto rules the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio rules the 8th house in the natural zodiac. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. The 8th house is the house that rules over other people's money, as in mortgages, insurance, inheritance. It also rules sex, birth, and transformation. It is also the house where we keep our secrets, the house of sex and deep intimacy. Pluto is transiting the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by the planet Saturn. Saturn is the lord of karma. Saturn rules over the natural 10th house of the zodiac. This is the highest place in the zodiac. The 10th house is the highest point in the zodiac. It is also our midheaven. The 10th house rules over our job, our status in society, our authority figures, the government, and our father. You cannot hide when you're having a Pluto transit in the 10th house. This is a transit which puts you out to the public, and everybody will see all the transformation that's going to take place in your life. The South Node has moved out of Capricorn. This will make the Pluto transit a little less intense. Saturn also moved out of Capricorn briefly into Aquarius, but he is now retrograding back home. Saturn is going to stay in Capricorn for a few more months until December, when he moves into Aquarius permanently. He is not going to come back to Capricorn for another 29 years. At some point before Uranus ends its transit in Taurus, it is going to form a harmonious aspect to Pluto called a trine. This is going to make the transit a lot more supportive. On a personal level, if Pluto is making any harsh conjunctions, oppositions, or squares, it's going to make the remainder of this transit very challenging. When Pluto comes for you, you better be ready to transform and surrender. Pluto can sometimes bring separations and death. Pluto never leaves a house the same way it found it. When the transformation is complete, there is a rebirth. You will rise like the phoenix. Pluto transiting the first house. This house is the house of Aries, ruled by Mars. The ascendant is one of the 4 angles in the birth chart. So therefore, this transit is going to be one of those that you will definitely feel and is going to impact you on a very personal, intense level. Pluto will bear you naked for the whole world to see. You're going to constantly feel like somebody is judging you. You're also going to attract scorpionic type of relationships. There will be a lot of jealousy and obsession and power struggles. Mostly you'll be looking at yourself very deeply. Your self-image is going to come up under review. You'll be very self-conscious of your insecurities and there will be many projections. If your ascendant is negatively aspected, this is a time when some people become bulimic or start suffering from body dysmorphia. Some people will go through body transformation by doing surgeries or certain type of adjustments to their physical body, or some other people, this is the time when they decide to go for a sex change. You want to change how you're seen by the world. Pluto is the planet of eruptions. It's very likely that you experience acne at this time or any other type of skin eruptions. Others start working out very intensely or decide to become bodybuilders. This is a positive way of using this transit by deciding to become healthier. By the time Pluto leaves the first house, you will be totally transformed. You will become the best version or truest version of yourself. Other people will not see you to be the same person you were before. You will assume a totally brand new identity. Pluto transiting the second house. This is the Taurus house. This house is ruled by Venus. Pluto here is coming to transform what you love and value, your money, or perhaps what you do for a living. Pluto will test your self-esteem, your self-love, and your attachment to possessions, all the things that you love and value. Can you survive without all your possessions? Pluto will break down all your solid and significant structures. That could be your job, your bank account, your savings, all the things that you have accumulated so far, and also maybe the family that you have created. Pluto can break down your entire family to pieces, and only the truest members will survive this transit. Who are you without your possessions? Whatever is hidden will be revealed, and whatever is not authentic will be transformed. Pluto wants you to discover your self-value, your other talents, and a realistic source of income. So what other talents do you have that you can use to earn money? Your fear of poverty could make you become obsessed with making more money and owning more things. On a positive side, Pluto can bring you massive amounts of wealth, and you could get a chance to create a loving family with very deep bonds. Of course, it's that obsession of making more money that will bring you to this point. You will be totally transformed. Pluto transiting the third house. The third house of Gemini. This house is ruled by Mercury. This is the house of siblings, communication, your immediate environment, your neighborhood, and the efforts that we make. The way that you communicate is going to change. You're going to be more interested in communicating about deep hidden issues and making discoveries or investigations. You're going to be interested in discussing things about the occult, death, science, rebirth. You're going to be interested in talking about more dark issues like the occult, hidden issues, secrets, investigations, etc. The topics that you discuss might make most people uncomfortable because they're going to be topics of the Scorpio house, the house of sex, death, and rebirth. You could start a job or a project that requires you to do a lot of intense communication, a lot of writing, or at this time you could probably decide to start writing a novel. This is a lighter house, so perhaps you will learn a new language or another ways of communicating, maybe sign language, or simply you just go back to school. Pluto transiting the fourth house. This is the Cancer house. This house is ruled by the moon. The fourth house is also known as the IC. This is also an angle house. This transit is going to be felt on a very deep, intense emotional level. This is a transit that you'll always remember. Whenever a planet touches our IC, the lowest part of our natal birth chart, we definitely feel this transit. This transit will transform your emotions, your relationship with your mother and your family or your home. If you have any psychological issues attached to your childhood, some jealousies and resentments that you have not dealt with, Pluto here will bring them up for you to resolve them. It is a great time to deal with your emotions. Go for therapy and get some healing. You could become obsessed with having the perfect home, the perfect family. You could also have power struggles with women in your life, especially your mother. Pluto is a water planet, so Pluto transiting your IC could literally bring a flood into your house. Your house could get water damaged. And since Saturn rules the structures in our life, there could be structural damage done to your house. Or you could find out that you have a problem with the foundation. And then you decide to just totally renovate your whole entire house. This could also be a time of discovering deeply kept family secrets about your ancestors, issues involving money or sex. One very positive side of this transit is that you could become a mother or a father, or they could just simply be additions to your family. Pluto transiting the fifth house. This is the Leo house. Leo is ruled by the sun. The sun shines wherever it goes, so you may suddenly want to be the center of attention. The sun shines wherever it goes, so you may all of a sudden want to be the center of attention. You will transform through creativity, your creative talents, and your children or your romantic affairs. This is a fun and entertaining house. You may discover new hobbies or different ways of entertaining yourself or different ways of self-expression. If you had a fear of being seen for expressing your creative talent or being on center stage, this transit will help you overcome that fear. On the negative side, this transit could make you become very jealous and obsessive of your lover. You could also become very controlling with your children. It is also very likely that you become involved romantically with a Scorpio. You're only interested in deep, intense type of relationships. Superficial relationships are not going to interest you at this time. You could become really passionate and creative about a new creative project or a new business venture. Whatever you're going to create through your talents, it's something that's going to be there for everybody to see. Pluto transiting the fifth house can make you very fertile. So if you've been trying to get pregnant, this is the time that it's very likely to happen. And if you're not trying to get pregnant, you must use all precaution. Use birth control. But for most people, this is when they complete the whole entire family. Some people can have three children actually with this Pluto transit because it stays in a house for several years. Pluto transiting the sixth house. The sixth house of Virgo. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Pluto here will bring intensity and obsession about your daily routine, your health or workout regimen, or what you do for work. It can also bring power struggles with your workmates and other people in your work environment. All of a sudden, you might notice that you're working with a lot of Scorpios at your job. You could become jealous of other co-workers, or they could become jealous of you, and there will be constant power struggles. This transit could also make you become a workaholic. On the negative side, Pluto can bring up a chronic issue, but you will become very obsessed in healing yourself. You will do whatever it takes, whether it means changing your diet, going on medication, or being in the hospital. You will overcome this. You will defeat this open enemy. A disease sometimes in the sixth house presents itself as an open enemy. Pluto in the sixth house will make you very strong, powerful, and resilient. A wonderful time to overhaul your diet and workout regimen. Treatment of a chronic illness could require you to overhaul your diet and daily routine. Do you have any healing abilities? Well, with Pluto transiting the 6th house, this is when most people that have that ability become healers. Some people decide to work in the medical field or do some kind of medical training. On the positive side, if you are a lawyer, Pluto will make your words very powerful. You will be a force to be reckoned with. It is very likely that you win almost every battle that you will have in court. Take advantage of this transit. Pluto transiting the 7th house. That is the Libra house ruled by Venus. This is an angle house in the zodiac. It is called the descendant. This is where the ascendant deals with the other being the person on the descendant. This is your relationships, your partnerships, your commitments, and your open enemies. We must always remember that when a business deal or a marriage goes sour, your partner becomes your open enemy. So you might be dealing with power struggles, jealousies, or attracting Scorpion type of people. Or you yourself might become very obsessive, passionate, and jealous of your partner. Whichever way you want to look at it, the relationships at this time are going to be very intense and very passionate. If there were problems in your relationship or if your descendant is negatively aspected, unfortunately, this is when you have natural separations in relationships. Pluto here could bring on a divorce or a separation or a breakup of a partnership. You will become very obsessed and controlling in your relationships. You're going to want to control every aspect of your relationship. Perhaps this stems from a fear of betrayal, loss, or being left by yourself. On the brighter side, if your partnership or marriage survives this Pluto transit, your relationship will be transformed in a way that it will become stronger and much more reliable. Pluto transiting the 8th house. This is the Scorpio house. The 8th house is ruled by Pluto himself and Mars. Pluto is at home here. This is his house. So perhaps he's not going to be as destructive or disruptive. This transit could bring you an all-consuming, intimate, intense sexual affair. Jealousy, obsession, passion may be the themes in this relationship. On the positive side, your partner could be very wealthy and provide for you. After all, the 8th house is the house of other people's money. On the negative side, there might be a death in the family and you could transform your finances through an inheritance. It's very likely that you become interested in the occult or researching hidden subjects or topics or taboo subjects. Since Pluto rules transformation and Mars rules the knife, it's very likely that you do some type of surgery at this time, or you could have a birth through C-section. Some people may discover that they have different sexual preferences, or they might just discover a kinky side, or they might have different type of sexual intimate experiences with different types of people. And if you're married, you could go through some transformations in the bedroom. You might be more willing to experiment and try different things. Pluto transiting the 9th house. This is the house of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Pluto is transiting the house of your higher beliefs, your religious beliefs, foreign countries, foreigners, and the law. You may transform your religious beliefs. If you're a Christian, you could become a Muslim or an atheist. You could become passionate about investigating religions, ancient history, or traveling to foreign exotic places. Some people at this time may decide to go and live in a foreign country. Other people may decide to pursue higher education. It's very likely that you will experience power struggles and issues of jealousy while you're living in that foreign country. Your beliefs and worldview will be transformed. You could also start writing a mystery novel at this time. Or if you had already written your novel, this is very likely the time that you will be published. If you had been going to law school, this is the time that you will finish your studies. Pluto transiting the 10th house. This is the house of Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the lord of karma. The 10th house, or the midheaven, is the highest point in the natural zodiac. This is also called the MC. When anything happens or you're having a transit here, it's open and there for the world to see. You cannot hide when Pluto transits your 10th house. You will be transformed, and the transformation will be there. The transformation will be seen by the whole world. Some of the things I said in the introduction pertain particularly to this house because Pluto is transiting Capricorn, the natural 10th house of the zodiac. You will be passionate about achieving a higher status in society, almost to the point of obsession. You will have a lot of drive and ambition, and you might be capable of doing anything to get to the top. It's very likely that you become a boss or get a promotion. You may experience power struggles and situations of jealousy with your boss or authorities. In other situations, it could be power struggles with your father. For others, this is a time that you could probably start a totally brand new career, something that you've never done before. And this is why there may be some type of fear of competence. By the end of this transit, you will have overcome your fear and cemented your standing in society. This is also a transit when some people could actually achieve fame or achieve some other type of social status. Or they could also accomplish some of their long-term goals. For some people, this is a time that they change their social status by becoming a married person or a divorced person. Pluto transiting the 11th house. This is the Aquarius house, ruled by Saturn and Uranus, or Uranus. Pluto here wants to transform your hopes, wishes, and dreams. This is the house that is the reward of the work that we did in the 10th house. So Pluto may really reward you in a financial way. After all, this is the house that we reap, where we reap what we sowed, in the 10th house. It is very likely that you change your dreams, hopes, and wishes to something totally different. You may also attract scorpionic type of friends, or you yourself could start behaving like a Scorpio, and you will have power struggles with your friends, and you may experience power struggles and jealousy within your friendships and your groups. You're not going to be interested in keeping it light with your friends. All those superficial type of friendships are going to be left behind. Since this house also rules your elder siblings and your uncles, you may have some type of experience with those relatives. It's very likely that you become obsessed with a friend or be faced with issues of betrayal and jealousy. At this time, some people find themselves bringing some type of transformation in a group. Perhaps they will fight for a cause or the rights of people in a group. Or they will be engaged in a lawsuit to bring some justice for a friend. When Pluto transits this house, it totally transforms your friendships, the groups that you belong to, and the relationships with your elder siblings or uncles. Pluto transiting the 12th house. This is the house of Pisces. It's ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. The 12th house is a hidden house. It's very likely that you move to foreign lands. It is also possible that you're going to have hidden and transformative types of sexual relationships. This is also the house of loss. So perhaps some things will come to a natural end. Some of the things that could end are things that you probably wanted to end. Pluto here could bring out your hidden enemies, or it could bring out your own hidden bad habits, such as drugs, alcohol, or escapist tendency. This is the house where you might self-sabotage. You will come face to face with your dark side or your shadow. Your karma or your past will come up in some way. This is a challenging transit because of all the hidden issues coming up. This is a challenging transit because of the tendency to escape through negative habits or unhealthy hidden relationships, perhaps a love affair with a married foreigner, or somebody who is just simply not available for anything else other than a fling. These hidden relationships, unfortunately, could be tinged with power struggles, jealousy, and abuse. On the positive side, you could have really profound dreams. You could become very psychic. For some people, this is a time when they become mediums. It is also a great time to get a reading because the veil to the other side is open. Others just start some other type of spirituality. I suggest you find other ways of grounding yourself and keeping yourself in reality, because the 12th house is the place where we could escape through fantasy, and the lines between reality and fantasy could be blurred.